Hello guys, welcome to Red 50. Thank you for tuning into another video. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing how often you should be changing the oil on 2019 or 2018 and up Mustangs. I've got a 2019 Mustang GT, so I'll be using that as an example. This has the Gen 3 Coyote 5-liter engine, which is an absolute monster of an engine. It makes 460 horsepower stock and gets 28 miles per gallon on highways, which in my opinion is very, very amazing. This Gen 3 Coyote engine can be found in all 2018 and up Mustang GTs, Mach 1, and the Bullet. So in this video, we're going to be discussing if you do have a Gen 3 Coyote engine in your Mustang, how often you should be changing the oil. Let's do what any sensible Mustang owner should be doing. Is reading this owner's manual, and why I personally don't follow Ford's recommended service interval. Taking a look at the Ford's owner manual, you can see that Ford recommends changing the oil every 7,500 miles or so, and it also recommends doing synthetic blend instead of synthetic, which I feel like is a topic for a different video. So Ford is recommending 7,500 mile oil changes with the synthetic blend. I feel like I could get by and be okay with the recommendation if it's a 7,500 mile and synthetic oil, not synthetic blend, but synthetic oil. Now, I personally changed the oil in my 2019 Mustang GT every 5,000 miles, as opposed to what Ford recommends 7,500 mile. Because I feel like 7,500 interval is too long of an interval, especially if you're not doing full synthetic. If you're doing full synthetic, you should be okay, but anything less than that, I feel like gets a little tricky. Now, I do understand the oil quality has improved significantly over time, so we're no longer following 3,000 mile oil changes, especially if you're going full synthetic or synthetic blend. But in this case, if they're recommending synthetic blend for 7,500 mile, I don't know why I keep saying RPM, it's a little high in my opinion. Now, if this was an economy car that barely saw more than 2,000 RPM, then I could probably get by with that. But this is a muscle car or a sports car, whatever you want to call, and it's constantly seeing high RPM ranges. It's, you're doing pulls on it, wide open throttle pulls, so it gets, I wouldn't say abused, but it gets the engine working. I also think it's a small price to pay for some peace of mind to ensure the Mustang GT engine is running as healthy as it possibly can. And as you know, the engine is one of the most expensive components to go bad in your car, any car. And in this case, when you're dealing with this 5.0 V8, they're definitely costly to replace, and you don't want to be in that position. So in my opinion, it's a small price to pay for the oil change. Now, I did some calculations that if I was to do oil change every 5,000 mile versus 7,500 mile, and I keep this car for about 10 years, which would mean around 100,000 miles or so, I roughly save, the oil change, if I was to do 5,000 miles, would roughly cost me $2,000 at the dealer over the span of 10 years. Whereas if I was to do it for 7,500 miles or so, it would cost me about $1,340, so about $660 difference. And in my opinion, that's a very small price to pay over 10 years. Now, if it was a one-time sum, obviously that changes the game, but over a long term, it's a very small price to pay, because any engine issue that you could potentially run into is gonna exceed way, way beyond that. Now, I know there are people on complete extreme side of the things where they want to change the oil every 3,000 miles or so, and I think that, in my personal opinion, is a little bit overkill unless you're tracking your Mustang or you're racing your Mustang. Otherwise, I don't see a reason for you to be changing your oil every 3,000 miles. As you saw, I personally follow 5,000 mile in my car compared to what Ford is recommending 7,500. With the synthetic blend, I've been doing synthetic and doing 5,000 miles just to keep things leveled out and not have any trouble down the road, as I do intend to own this car for a long period of time. Now, if you are doing synthetic, then obviously you don't have to stick to 5,000 miles. If you're doing full synthetic oil change, you can probably get 7,500 miles or so out of the oil change or between the oil changes which I think is very reasonable. But if you're doing synthetic blend, 5,000 definitely. You don't want to push it too much, especially if you drive your car like it's supposed to be driven, because a Mustang GT with a 5.0 making 460 horsepower, you don't want to be driving it like a Cadillac or a Lexus and barely giving it any gas. Well guys, that's pretty much it what I've got for the oil change recommendation. As you know, I don't follow the Ford recommended. Now I follow the 5,000 with the synthetic, small price to pay. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below what your oil change interval looks like. And as always, subscribe to Red 50 for more Mustang content.